Investigation says more bones have been found. Police are still at the scene just off the road where a utility worker made Thursday's gruesome discovery. It could be days until we get a positive ID on the remains, and no matter what you think through all this, it's got to be hard on Caylee's family. The toddler's mom, Casey, in jail, charged with murder. Let's watch Casey's brother, Lee. He goes out to remove a memorial in the yard, and he's confronted by reporters. Give it a listen.
Told you that the
you think it's Caylee, or are you holding out hope?
On the deal, we'll call law enforcement. Are you holding
Do not follow.
Basically saying there, do not follow me or I'm going to call the cops. Joining us now to talk about this, Natisha Lance, producer with the Nancy Grace Show. She's been covering this extensively, as has our very own law enforcement expert, Mike Brooks. We also have with us Dr. Daniel Spitz, a forensic pathologist, and we're hoping to get Leonard Padilla, the bounty hunter, who's had very close contact with this family. Leonard Padilla has a theory, a timeline that we hope to hear from Leonard on. But let's start with you, Natisha. What's gone on today? What's gone on at the crime scene and at the Anthony's home?
Well, today they have been back here searching once again, started out early this morning. Now, what I'm being told is that they have a grid set up, and they are sifting through dirt, leaves, twigs, all types of foliage out here, trying to find as much as they can. Now, I'm hearing also that they've made a discovery. They found more smaller bones that they believe were possibly scattered by animals in this area. And once again, those things are going to be shipped off to the medical examiner's office. There are a few items that have been transported off to Quantico, but they're not sending all of those remains to Quantico, just the things that they deem necessary to send in order to get a positive ID and also to do the DNA testing in order to make a confirmation. They're saying, once again, as far as that ID coming back, it'll be up to a week, possibly 2 weeks, but they expect to be finished at this crime scene area probably on Wednesday.
And Natisha, what about this? I hate to even use the term, but it's somewhat of a trail of bones. I mean, how widespread is it? What kind of area are we talking about here?
They didn't get into specifics with me about this trail of bones. I'm not even sure if it's exactly a trail or an absolute trail, but they did. The term that they used with me was scattered bones, and they believe that this happened from animals. So they also possibly might be looking into these areas where animals may have burrowed down and brought them into their homes, where they bunker down over when there's weather such as the rain that they had in this area. But as of this point, just saying scattered bones, they're saying that they are small, and they're trying to get more information about those as they go on.
Gotcha. Let's bring in Dr. Daniel Spitz, forensic pathologist. Doctor, how are you handling each discovery? Each bone that's found, what testing's done? Help us out here.
Well, obviously you want to get as much of the skeleton as you can, and the minute that plastic bag was breached, animals get in and begin to scatter the bones. Now, you don't need every single bone to try and determine the cause of death. Obviously, you want to have a complete skeleton to give back to the family, but you need the major bones. You need the skull, the ribs, the long bones. All those bones are going to be very important. At the end of the day, though, only if there is skeletal injury are you going to be able to make a determination as to the cause of the death. And if you don't have skeletal injury, you may be left with a homicide without a definitive cause.
Okay. Mike Brooks, as an investigator, what are you searching for right now? I mean, beside the ones, especially when we talk about the Anthony home. Let's zero in on that for a minute.
Well, just to touch on the scene first, Mike, you got on Saturday, the FBI's evidence response team was there with Orange County and also Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and they were, as Natisha said, that's the way we do things. I used to be a team leader on the FBI's ERT, and we set up a grid, and then you go through and take just buckets full and then sift. It's very methodical, and they know what they're doing, and that's why my sources tell me some of the small bones I did find came as a result of that sifting. Now, back at the house, the evidence that they found late Thursday night into early Friday morning. As you recall, they had another search warrant, went back to the house, took vacuum cleaners out. They're probably looking for any kind of trace evidence that they may have found that on the scene that led them back to the house. Because if you recall, the sheriff said, when asked, was there something there at the scene that took you to that house? And he said, absolutely. So there's a lot of other things that they took out of there that we don't know, but they're probably looking also, for any bags, anything at all that they found there that could lead them back and maybe help piece together this puzzle.
Gotcha. Okay, let's reintroduce the bounty hunter, Leonard Padilla. He's had close contact with this family, bailed Casey out at one point, thought little Caylee might be alive. Quickly, he's changed his mind. Leonard, I want to hear you have a theory on a timeline here where Casey had a window of opportunity to remove Caylee's remains. Is that
right?
Tell us about that.
Here's what we feel: that the body died. She overdosed the body, Didn't mean to kill her, but overdosed her on the night of the 15th around midnight or 12:30 a.m. She had the body in the back of the car on the 18th when she backed the car up to the house, making it look like an accidental drowning in the pool. She couldn't get that done, used the shovel to scoop the body out, laid it down by the playhouse, packaged it up in a sheet from the house, plus a black plastic garbage bag, taped it up. But before she did that, she wound tape around the head to make it look like a kidnapping. That's why there's tight tape around the mouth and the head. She then put the body back in the car. On the 24th, when the dad almost got to the back of the car looking for his gas cans, she freaked. She then slammed the trunk, drove down, made a right, and put the body 16 feet off the edge of the road. And this is where the kids, when she was growing up, would bury their pets when they died, their parakeets, their birds, their animals. And that's why I think they're finding a lot of scattered small bones. Now, the fact that little animals grab bones out of a bag is true, and they hide them under the burrows, and that's why they're digging up the trees and stuff. But a lot of those bones back there are going to be small animal bones, pets that died, and the kids would go back there and bury them. That's also a very familiar place for her, because that's where they used to party in high school, so she's very familiar with that area. And if you'll remember, she always constantly said, I think she's close to home.
Right.
And I'll tell you another thing. When she told the cops that she was checking the familiar places to her, she wanted the body found because immediately she'd kick into the Zenaida, did it. She had a key to the house. That's why the duct tape's going to have her prints on it, even though Zenaida stole the duct tape, Zenaida stole the bed sheet, Zenaida stole the garbage bag.
Gotcha.
You watch.
Okay.